takes is more than fitness. It's honesty with yourself. It's pain. It's choosing to suffer, even when no one would judge you for stopping. This is what it takes to finish a double ultra triathlon. Let's go. Why is the question I got the most. Yeah. I signed up for the race back when, at the mid of 24 actually, before I knew my life is going to look how it looks now. Back then I just had finished my second Ironman and I could have continued down that path. Try to get faster, qualify for other races, you know the game. But yeah, something inside me said, I want to know what I'm really capable of, not just in a competitive sense, but as a human being. What suffering can I endure? And honestly, I'd always thought ultra triathlons were for the older guys, slower, and I never imagined myself being in there at 31. But I guess that was part of it, part of the curiosity. Also, my dad has done over 30 long distance triathlons, triple Ironmans, you name it. And I guess I just wanted to experience what he has gone through, maybe to understand him better, yeah, maybe to connect, maybe to prove myself and him that, not in a toxic way, in a loving way, that I'm capable of going that path he did, that I have the strengths. And when I found out that I'm going to have a son with Elena, I had a moment of clarity. It would be so close to the race, the birth. My son would just arrive a few weeks earlier. But I actually didn't question the timing. And I told myself, I want to be that kind of man that can handle both, being a father and finishing something hard. No, fear of failure actually never crossed my mind in that thing. But then came the injury, 3 months before the race, a herniated disc in the lower back. And that was definitely a bummer because it was the most important phase of the prep. I was finally fit, I ran 50k in 4 hours, felt strong, fast, ready, and then everything changed. I couldn't sleep without pain. I couldn't walk without pain. And then the double was far away. But I never really questioned. I tried generally to live day by day and not call it too early. It took a month, yeah, before I could actually train again. And then when I was just in training a bit, 2 weeks after good volume, my son William was born. So again, a break. And family will always remain my number one priority. My dad lived that way, family over sports always. But still, training became night sessions, dad hours. With limited volume, of course, limited options. My longest ride before the ultra was 2 days before volume came, it was 200k, and on race day I did have to ride 360. But in my mind, that was the deal. I looked forward to it actually. You can't fake a double ultra. You just have to be ready to suffer. Wanting something doesn't mean you get it. but choosing it again and again when it gets harder, that's what makes a difference to actually then get it.
Alright folks, little break before we go into race day on something that not just shaped this film but my creativity in the past weeks more than I expected. We're talking about Musicbed. Look at this movie from today, from the quiet moments to the chaos. The music always carries the story like in every cinema movie, and that's why I use Musicbed. Every track in my videos is curated and every track comes from musicbed and their catalogs. And even though I did try use various platforms, I've never found a better way and place to license cinematic music for my movies, for my films, for my vlogs. It's really about the curation of the songs that happens there that gives you a creativity boost, because that's how I cut. I look at something, I have something in mind, then I look for the song and then okay, that's how I build the story, that's how I can cut it, wow, that's how I pace it. So if you're a creator, filmmaker, or just someone who genuinely is looking for a way to make their movie feel like something, I just really can recommend check Musicbed. I have a link in my description where you can get 14 days of just trying it out. So listen to the songs, feel inspired, jam to it, and maybe create some content. So thank you Musicbed for giving me this opportunity to use your music, license it for my videos, and work together as a friend of the brand. And now let's get into race day.
What it takes. What does it take to be a double ultra triathlon finisher? Let's talk about it. I mean, I was calm at the start, just thankful I wasn't sick at that day. I mean, so many things can happen to not get you at the start line. So I had no nerves, but it was just quiet eagerness to see what the day would bring. And actually the swim surprised me. I felt stronger than expected. The first hour in the water flew by. I just had minor issues, like my wetsuit zipper cord kept wrapping around my left arm like a rope. So I couldn't swim just with limited range, and I stopped, put it back in, but worked out. So still the swim felt great, smooth, efficient. It didn't take anything from me, and I was below 2.5 hours, where I'm very happy with. And then I was most excited for the bike, and strangely it was the discipline I remember the least.
Yeah, one of the best, live in the flesh, L.A.N.S. I've been a monster, ready to conquer, quiet as kept. I started writing my goals, I'm doing the reps. Look at the steps, taking man to man is passing the test. Never forget who I am. I got my plans all in my hand. I got my goals right in my reach. Life the bones when the boy lands. I'm knowing they cannot stand it. I'm a bandit and a beast from another planet. Don't sleep, I'ma do damage. Time to wake up then. You want war, better lace up then. I'm coming for everything, better wake up then. You want war, better lace up then. Don't sleep on me, you better wake up. Woo! Don't sleep, you better wake up. I'm still the voice of the streets, you better wake up. Woo! Don't sleep, you better wake up then. Wake up then. Yeah, no more sleep in the slumber, can you feel it, the hunger? Yeah, a thief is among us, but I slept with monsters. Yeah, my goal is humongous, trying to reach it and conquer. Yeah, can nobody stop this? If you sleep, be cautious. If you're taking a kip, then wake up. I'm playing chess to catch up. I ain't got time to dream for silent scenes. The scenery ain't plush, man. Yeah, mine doesn't matter. Hearing all the chatter, really all that matters. Airing them out. Sleep on me, I'm preparing the couch. I'm the king right here in your house. I'm the one that you slept on. Bullets wanna fly, but I'm Teflon. Now you live vicarious. I told you that it's serious. You better wake up then. You won't
first 2.5 hours went great. I pushed, felt good looking, strong. I raced 100k just in 2.5 hours. So strong pace, fueling was great, on point. And then that day was the hottest day in the year so far. Dude, 35 degrees in the sun, and the heat really hit me. I did no heat training, and I really started to feel it in waves. And then at one point I had to stop. I threw up right there on the roadside in the middle of the race, out of nothing, after taking a gel. And then I thought, oh no. And everything drained from me, physically, mentally, emotionally. That was maybe one of the hardest points in race, because it was so far away still. And honestly, from that point on, it was survival mode. I never recovered from that throwing up twice. I got dehydrated, underfueled, and probably had a heat stroke. And then actually every voice in my head told me to stop, to rest, to lie down. So I did everything I could. I changed helmets, switched the shoes, got soaked with water every lap for my crew. But my heart rate dropped to 110, and even with that, my watts disappeared. And I mean, I did so many people quit on that bike ride, but still, that kilometers from 130 to 200 felt like forever for me. Actually, it was, yeah, in that period my wife visited, and it was funny because it was maybe with the night that came, but it was my biggest suffering, and she hates to see me that much of a sufferer. So it was just bad timing. She was crying, and my soul left my body. Like, I was not even there spiritually. I was just trying to keep on moving. Eventually, I still found a rhythm then. It was not like I had a big power left. So I decided to rather went underfueled than throw up again, because then it could be actually a DNF. So I focused on position, aero, steady, and somewhere between kilometer 230 and 330, I just existed.
Hardest day of my life, no doubt about it.
It was an empty tank, an empty mind, but still the kilometers passed, and that's why I did it. It has some meditative state. You're so underfueled and you still move. Till it was done. And I was finally allowed to run. I think it's always that you look forward to the next discipline, and yeah. How was the run? I started with good energy at least. So I was really happy to be moving differently from the bike to the run. But when I started, the pace shocked me. It felt like 5 minutes per K, but it was 6:50 per K. And that broke something in me, because I finally realized that my main goal of finishing below 24 hours vanished. Still, the first 15K were solid, and then the night came. I slowed down. I started walking the climbs like every other athlete did. So I thought it's a good strategy. But within that walks, I actually drifted into micro sleeps, like on the road, you know, everyone knows that from driving. So the first marathon actually took me 6 hours due to all the breaks where I tried to put myself together with Eiko and Manuel, my crew. My lowest point in the race was definitely in that night, realizing that I needed sleep. Manuel, Eiko, my dad, everyone saw it, but Manuel and Eiko, my crew, we were unsure what's the right measure to bring me back up. Is it just better to move, but move slowly? And then my dad said, lay down, drink coffee after, but really lay down once, not just on the side of the road for 5 minutes sitting like I did, but really go into the van, try to sleep, wake up, feel like newborn. So I did that. I trusted him. I mean, he's done so many of these. So I climbed into the car. I slept 10 minutes. Every muscle in my body was completely sleeping, like immediately. If your body tells you to rest, rest. If your ego tells you to quit, go on.
Good morning.
That's how I would describe it. I mean, listen closely. If it's your mind playing tricks, or it's actually providing a solution. And if you are intact with your soul, you will definitely notice difference. And my body told me to do a power nap. And when I woke up, I was reborn. I will never forget what happened then. Still having 35 kilometers to go. And the sun just started to rise. And with the coffee, the sunrise, my metabolism, everything in myself, every cell in my body said, all right, it's a new day. We just woke up, even though it was just 10 minutes of real sleep. And then I found a fellow runner, Marcus.
Yeah.
I'll never forget him. Just with the time we had, he had some energy left, and we actually just made a joke and then decided to run together, like kids. We did an imaginary goal we want to accomplish, to finish below 27 hours. I was at a point where I didn't care about what time I finished. I just wanted to finish. But with him, I found some spirit again, and we went down like 5:20 paces. We had joy, momentum, flow. We just didn't walk anymore. We just ran, and actually had the fastest second half of the second marathon. Was the fastest from both of us, among all athletes, even the winners. And that means something to me, because that saved the race for me. It showed me that I have the ultra spirit. And in ultra, the finish line doesn't always just test your body. It measures your soul. And I'm always the guy who asks, could I have done more? I'm actually hard to satisfy. Did I hold back? But this time, with the heat, the lack of prep, I gave everything I had with the experience I had. Of course, I would do things differently now if I would be back at the start line, but it has to be enough. And with the end of the run, I can really find peace with that competition and the whole project. What did I learn from this? I think that it's never the strongest athletes who finish, it's the most committed ones. From 65 starters, 30 athletes did not finish at that day. So almost half didn't make it through the heat. And pacing yourself isn't just about watts and heart rate. It's about humbleness. And I wish I would have been more humble before the race. Respecting the distance, I did not respect it enough. I came into the race wanting to perform. Deep down, I was calculating podium spots, my split times, all of it. But an ultra doesn't care about your spreadsheets. It strips away your ego, your plans, your expectations, until all that's left is, do you want to keep going? Alright? In an ultra, I would say your greatest enemy isn't the course. It's your own expectations that can break you. And if you don't do this for yourself, you can't finish these races. If you don't do it for the experience of a lifetime, you don't finish these races. If you do it for fame or for Strava, you won't finish. It's not strong enough of reason. And I'm proud I never considered quitting, not once. And I'm proud I finished like I did. Not because it was fast or what I expected, but because it was true. I finally had a true experience, and I didn't finally care about what anyone thinks about my performance, because if you have not finished this double ultra, you shouldn't dare to think about judging about it. The last run really gave me the peace. Running through the rain at the next morning, it's so crazy that you imagine you have been moving a full day non-stop. It was really the best run of my life, and I will never forget Marcus for that moment we shared. And that's also one of the humbleness, like not everyone looks like the craziest athlete, but there are some badasses out there. And I'm insanely grateful in my first ultra sharing that road with so many great athletes and spirits. I'm always the guy who wonders what's possible, but I also know that this race, with everything that happened before, it was my limit. It was everything I had. Yeah. Now I feel like I could have done more, but it's a few days after I feel fresh again. But I'm so grateful, especially for a few people. To my dad, for showing me what's possible my whole life, and now do this together. It's so crazy. To my wife Elena, for trusting me with this project and taking so much weight off my shoulder by being this amazing mother for my child. To my crew Manuel and Aiko, and also Valle and my mom. But especially Manuel and Aiko for pouring everything into me so I could finish. Not only water bottles, but so much spirit, energy. They didn't sleep. They've always been smiling, and I will never forget what they did to me. And I will never forget how they supported me my whole life, and I'll always be there to counterweight that. So after 26 hours of moving, there was only one thing I really wanted. To finish with my son in my arms. Not to show off, but because I had visualized that moment 1,000 times in training. I even talked about it on YouTube, in my dreams, and in the end it was a quiet one. I did not have no energy left to cry or be emotional. It was just looking at him, being happy that I finished purely just looking at him, and it was one of the moments in life where I forget everything around me. It was a moment I had with him. I don't even remember anything else than just taking care of him and go over that finish line. Even though he did not sign up for being on my arm, but it was everything I needed at that moment. And I will never remember my splits maybe, but I will always remember who I became at that day while chasing them.
mega gemacht. Mega. Ja, kann auch, es geht schon los heute.
Und Oma Inge ist dabei.
Alles in Logie.
Genau.
Es ist wunderbar.
Wir fangen.
Ganz, ganz herzlichen Glückwunsch.